If you could choose three exercises or strength development exercises for the runner's toolbox or a couple more, what would are Brad's favourites?
Yeah, there's many, but if we're really narrowing down to time efficient exercises, I'm a firm believer in more isn't better, but targeted stuff's better. And I often talk about, you want things that give you good bang for your buck in terms of your exercise efforts. So your good bang for your buck exercises, you can't go past good quality calf raises. So single leg calf raises, and there's calf raises, and then there's properly executed calf raises. We look to the Australian Ballet for our cues on how to best execute a single leg calf raise. And a couple of the key considerations or things we want to see are when a runner is coming up, they're doing a vertical raise. So they're not traveling forwards and backwards. So the little cue there is imagine you're in an elevator and you're going straight up and straight down. Secondly is to make sure you push off the right place. So it's really easy to do a calf raise where you drop out over the second to fifth toes. We call that, or the ballet call that, sickling. So I often joke with the runners to say, don't be a sickler, do your calf raises properly. So we, in simple terms, talk about trying to get up off the big toe. So make that your point of force and leverage. So we've got go vertical and go off the big toe. And thirdly, stop when you're tired, but try and keep a good, stiff, straight leg. So things like squeezing your bottom a little can help make the legs stiffer. Another key tip there for the calf raises is the tempo. So we'll typically cue runners to go up for one, down for one, up for two, down for two, three, three, four, four. So working to a one up, one down tempo is a really nice way to execute them. And in terms of targets, there's science that shows that the target we should hit changes as we mature. So as we get older, you probably expect to be able to do less. But in general applicability sense for the running community, say 30, you can say 30 safely is a good target. It's not easy to get to, and most runners will say, I can get to 30. But then if you look at how they're doing them, they're probably capping out much sooner than that. So try and do 30 well-executed calf raises, single leg, and you'll be doing well. And the reason it's so important is half of our running force comes from our calves, in simple terms. So if you weaken your calf, you're giving away free speed. Second to that, a lot of people recognize the plyometric work, the jump-in stuff, if you like, trains stiffness in the legs. So basic things like, pardon the pun, but pogo hops jumps can be really nice. They're low cost in terms of time, but high yield in terms of outcomes. So pogo jumps are all about trying to help the legs to develop stiffness. So stiffness is not a negative term in terms of people will say you don't want to be stiff. No, we actually do want stiff legs that absorb energy well and release it really efficiently. So absorb it and release it. Think of it like an old car compared to a new car going over a bump. So the suspension of the old car is very sloppy. The springs aren't very stiff. The suspension in a new car, you're possibly going to barely feel the bump because the springs are so stiff. So if we do exercises like the pogo jumps, there's a whole ladder of exercise progressions, but start with something as simple as a pogo jump. You're helping your springs to be more stiff, which should mean better performance for your running. The cues to execute the pogo jumps properly, I tend to cue runners to keep their hands on their hips and to think about a stiff, slappy foot. So you're minimizing ground contact time. So a cue can be the floor is lava. Getting off the floor quickly and letting it take care of itself from there. But if we're just generally extrapolating to the group at large, you might see something like 3 or 4 sets of 20 jumps. And thirdly, our quadriceps, our quads, they just do so much work. So it's about 6 times body weight every stride. You add that up over an hour run, 5,000 plus load-in cycles at 6 times body weight. You start to get a bit of an appreciation for how capable we want our quadriceps, our quads to be. Many exercises to target the quads, but if we're looking at time-efficient exercises, something like a sit to stand can be really nice. It's portable, you can do it anywhere. Once again, low cost in terms of time, high yield in terms of outcomes. That's going from sitting to standing with a single leg. So obviously, if you go off something really high, like I'm on here, it's really easy to go from a sitting to standing position. So you want to make it a bit more challenging than that. So start with a standard height chair and see if you can go from sitting to standing single leg, up tall at the top, and then sitting back down, control it back down. Just make sure you've got your leg, the back of your leg in contact with the chair so you don't miss the chair when you come back down. Safety first. Keep it simple in terms of memory, 3 by 10 each leg. But remember, something's better than nothing. So even if it's 5, fine, do your best.